The thoughts, views, and comments expressed by the hosts, guests, and callers on Beyond the Headlines are not necessarily those of management, ownership, or production unit of the Verizon Media Group. Beyond the Headlines is a production of ILTV Studios and cannot be reproduced or represented in part or entirety without express written permission of the Verizon Media Group. Beyond the Headlines is the intellectual property of the Verizon Media Group. Copyright 2021.
Coming up tonight, the FNM shoring up its election slate of candidates, ratifying a new group this evening. Also tonight, when will the PLP ratify its full slate? They interviewed a handful of candidates last week, and so how do they measure up? We take a look this evening. And then a little bit later this evening, BTC Union hits the pavement today. We hear what drove today's protest. This is Beyond the Headlines. Good evening. I'm Shanique Miller. It's great to have you along this evening. Well, the Free National Movement continues to shore up its slate of candidates ahead of the next general election, ratifying several more candidates as the party sets up preparations for the national election that is fast approaching. The move signals a push by the opposition to lock in its lineup, build momentum on the ground, and present itself as a ready alternative government. Now, we have Jose Etienne there at the FNM headquarters on Mackey Street. We will go to him shortly, and we hope to hear more, but already I'm hearing some names coming out of FNM headquarters on Mackey Street. For example, Denari Roll, Pinewood Gardens, Dr. Dwayne Sands, Bamboo Town. I'm also hearing Heather Hunt, Elizabeth. And so we will absolutely get Jose on with us the minute that he is freed up a little bit. I think he's trying to really get in there so he can get us the information and be spot on. And so we will break and go to Jose as soon as I'm notified. Meanwhile, the Free National Movement, or while the Free National Movement continues to ratify more candidates ahead of the next general election, the governing Progressive Liberal Party is also moving to lock its team in place. Party Chairman Fred Mitchell says the PLP's National Council is expected to meet this Thursday, a move he says could accelerate the party's election preparations. Mitchell also revealing that the party is aiming to complete the ratification of candidates by January, signaling a push for organizational readiness as the country heads towards the campaign season.
I can't say when the final round is going to take place. I can only say that the process is ongoing. The National General Council meeting will take place on Thursday, and we expect them to ratify another slate of candidates for the next general election. But in the meantime, all members of Parliament are still busy in their jobs doing their work. I think the Prime Minister expects early in January to have the whole process completed. And then, of course, we're off to the races.
Well, people are certainly paying attention to who's ratified, exactly how the PLP's candidates and its slate of candidates look, how the slate of FNM candidates look, and of course, every individual, even the Coalition of Independents, their slate of candidates. And so we're gonna kind of jump in right there, because last week the PLP interviewed prospective candidates appearing before the council. North Eleuthera incumbent Sylvanus Petty, he was interviewed last week. North Abaco's incumbent Kirk Cornish also interviewed, and South Abaco, a newcomer, someone who was interviewed and perhaps will receive the official nomination, Bradley Fox. And so we're going to get in right there and jump in right there this evening to discuss these men, discuss perhaps exactly who they are stacking up against, how they stack up in the overall look of things right now, and also the fact that the PLP is slowly making its way there to complete its full slate, as the FNM is doing this evening. Welcome to Beyond the Headlines, BTH contributors Leslie Miller and Howard Johnson. Good evening to both of you, gentlemen.
Good evening, Shanique. Good evening, colleagues. Good evening, Bahamas. Pleasure to be here.
You are muted, Howard. You are muted.
Can you hear me?
Yes, absolutely.
I'm unmuted. Yes, good evening to you, Shanique. Good evening to you, Leslie. And good evening, of course, to the Bahamas.
Now, of course, we were to start with the Free National Movement, and I want to hear officially from Jose before I jump ahead. Now, by the time we have discussed this, if he has not joined us, then we can go and discuss who we understand have gotten the official nod this evening. And that's happening right now, by the way, on Mackey Street at F&M headquarters. But let's just look at what the PLP did last week. It continues to interview some hopefuls and incumbents and prospective candidates. Let's just look at North Eleuthera, for example. So Venice Petty, the incumbent member of parliament, was interviewed last week. He didn't make much of a fanfare of it, went in, interviewed, and gave his, his thoughts and his plans moving ahead as the PLP's standard bearer headed into 2026. Your thoughts on North Eleuthera and what's happening there, and we see all the other things happening all around him as well. Your thoughts on the fact, though, that, listen, the residents have asked for him, and the PLP has said, you know what, we'll give you who you asked for.
Yeah, Shanique, I think Sylvanus is going to be ratified again, and he is going to be the standard bearer for the PLP in the 2026 general election for North Eleuthera. There were a few prospective candidates who were aspirants that threw their hat in the ring initially when Sylvanus said he was not going to run again. Of course, we know what happened. Persons from the community went to the party and told the party and the prime minister and other high-ranking members that they wanted Sylvanus back. Sylvanus decided to heed the cry of the people and decided to go back. That was not without some controversy, but of course, the PLP party, it appears, is confident that Sylvanus can get the job done, finish
Howard,
up what
Howard,
he
I
has
don't know.
been doing, and he's going to be
I hate
returned.
this delay. Howard, I hope you can hear me. Okay, if you could put a pin right there. We are looking at live pictures, and this is a live video at F&M headquarters, the Free National Movement continuing to expand its slate of candidates. We see right now in the front there, near the party leader, Michael Pintard. Of course, we see Deputy Leader Shannon Don Cartwright, but we see Denari Roll, we see Heather Hunt, we see Dr. Dwayne Sands. It looks like Michael Barnett, and the other gentleman there, I'm not quite aware of him. In the back, we see Darren Henfield. I can't make out the other faces. The video is a bit blurry. Guys, let me know if we have Jose, but there you have it, Leslie and Howard. We can see there's Travis Robinson there, and we can see the slate of candidates there as it stands now that the Free National Movement have officially ratified. I imagine they are all ratified candidates. Of course, this is, please forgive our video that it's a bit blurry, but that right there is live footage at F&M headquarters on Mackey Street, where the F&M just ratified a new group of candidates. Gentlemen, your thoughts? It's official, so we could talk about it. Let's talk about a Denari Roll, Pinewood Gardens. I think he's a first-timer and a newcomer, and one of the young faces of the Free National Movement. We also have Dr. Dwayne Sands, Bamboo Town. We have Heather Hunt, Elizabeth. And I think there was someone in Grand Bahama, a female, that was nominated as well, ratified, pardon me, this evening as well. Gentlemen, your thoughts on how the F&M is how it's shaping up and how they're shaping up sort of their players in the fight.
You want to go ahead, Leslie, since I went first the last time?
Well, there's a lot of new candidates they have. Rule, I never heard of him before. He's going in Pinewood.
Yeah, I think he's
against a good man, and he's done a wonderful job as minister. Should be a good fight down there. Dwayne Sands, I notice he has run now from Lizzie. He's now heading into face Pat down in Bamboo Town. That should be an interesting one. One would have thought that the chairman of the party would be a man and go in the constituency that he run in 3 times before, eh?
But Leslie, he probably feels as though, why go back where you have
Go and
run?
run against another young lady. And I guess he's scared to face the men.
Leslie,
you know?
I figure his thoughts are, why go in somewhere you have run 3 times? Why not test new waters?
Well, new waters with another woman. So, if you get beat by one of them, you can get beat by another one down the road. Then, who else they have? The lady who's going up against the minister in Elizabeth. That should be
Heather
a good
Hunt.
fight. I don't think there'll be much competition.
Heather Hunt.
Should be interesting.
Howard, your thoughts on Heather Hunt?
Yes. So
'Cause I think that's the first
think-
time she's contesting Elizabeth.
Yes,
That's what
yes,
sounds
he,
contesting that.
When
She's
I
run
ran
before.
in Southern
Yes.
Lutheran 2012, Heather Hunt was the candidate for the FNM in Marathon. She is going up against now Jobette Colby Davis, who for all intents and purposes, everyone knows
Very
is
strong.
a political giant, and she is
very
very
strong.
strong. I know Heather Hunt is, personally, I know she is going to work very hard, but let's make no mistake about it, that is a very, very, very steep climb and a uphill battle for Heather Hunt. As far as Fraser Gibson is concerned,
Yes, Fraser,
that's
by
a
the way,
young-
Fraser
Miss
Gibson is Central Grand Bahama. I'm just
in
getting
Central
something
Grand Bahama.
official.
That's
Yes.
a young lady who is known to me. She is a former educator now. Since she's putting her hat in the race, I believe she's been in the public service teaching for, I believe, over 25 years. She's a community organizer, a good person. And let's make no mistake about it. Central Grand Bahama is the former Lucayan seat that was held
Who's
by
in that
Nico
seat now?
Grant for 25 years.
Aram
And
Lewis.
Hiram Bailey, he'll be gone.
I believe that there's only going to be token. If I was the PLP, I would only put token opposition in that seat because
What do you
that
mean?
has long been known as
Are
an
you saying
FNM
that
seat.
the
I expect her to
PLP?
win that.
Are you saying the PLP cannot, or it's extremely difficult for them to
It's
win
extreme.
Central?
Yes,
Grand Bahama?
it was formerly held by Nico Grant for 25 years.
He was a
I
good
run
man.
it as
Yes.
won it
Nico
as
was a
an
very good
FNM.
man.
I wouldn't waste too much time in there. I'd put a token opposition in there and Miss Fraser, welcome to the House of Assembly.
Yeah.
You figure she's going to beat Aram Lewis, the incumbent?
No doubt about it.
Yeah, well, that's
Nobody's
an
gonna vote
FNM
for
seat.
COI.
That's for all intents and
I
purposes.
told you
an
I'm going to give you
FNM seat.
$1,000 a night, and they're not going to get 5,000 votes in the entire general election. Cannot happen. Will not happen. People done tired of them already.
Leslie, where you heard this from?
Hiram should be the leader. He's the only member of parliament. And you got a little joke fellow there leading the pack. And he ain't gonna never see parliament in this lifetime or the next.
You know what?
So the rightful man to be in there as leader is the man who's in parliament. It
Let's-
just ain't gonna happen. People ain't stupid, you know.
let's,
I tell you, the morning of election day, make him down and say, listen, hold on, who else can vote for now? What does boy say? Put this $100,000 a year? I'm going to be so damn bad right now. This thing, but after the election, but I wonder if they can win. He can't win. So how you expect his troops to win?
Leslie,
It ain't gonna happen.
So then, Leslie, let's
Not
look,
this life.
So then, Leslie, let's look at Pinewood. Denari Roll.
I don't know.
No, that's okay. I think he came up in the torchbearers.
We're going back to the torchbearers.
And now he is one of the.
Miles Road is a good man.
I think vice chairman or
Yeah,
something,
okay.
something along those lines.
So he's heading back to where he came
in the
from.
Free National Movement. Then, of course, we have the incumbent Miles LaRota, and I do believe,
Minister.
I do believe, not sure about this, but I do believe maybe for the COI Lincoln Bain, because I know
Yeah, he ran there before.
yes, he's contested
Yeah,
that seat
yeah,
before, and he perhaps will stay there. So you
People
all,
like to beat on him.
how is that looking up? How is that race looking?
Miles
Well,
Road is
Miles,
gonna win easy.
Miles, go ahead. Go ahead.
Easy.
How?
He's done a lot in the constituency. He's always visible. He's been a good minister. And he's going to win the election with no problems at all.
Miles LaRota looks good in Pinewood?
Yes, he does.
I've not been hearing much.
Well, you will see on election day.
So Shanique, for me, I've been seeing Denari around as a young man. He's been making the rounds on behalf of the FNM, doing a lot of PR stuff. He's been on your show once or twice,
Yes,
I believe,
yes, he has.
as
I
well,
don't know.
representing the
Yes, it
FNM. He
hasn't been
seems
yet.
like
Yeah.
he seems like a very fiery young man. He's very passionate about his politics. I had the occasion of meeting him over the telephone through a mutual friend about 3 or 4 weeks ago. Just built a rapport with him, and I expect him to put up a good fight. I know Miles LaRota has been. I've seen him around, following the pages of a lot of these candidates. I've seen Miles on the ground several times.
He's a regular brother.
Working in his constituency, knocking on doors and doing some things. So Denari also has an uphill battle, but he's not going to lay down and play dead. That's not what I see in that young man.
Let's look at Bamboo Town. Bamboo Town is there. Again, I don't know if the PLP.
Speaker
Okay. If she's the standard bearer
Patricia
leading
DeVoe.
into 2026,
Patricia
Patricia
DeVoe.
DeVoe.
Yes.
Then of course you have now Dr. Dwayne Sands
Yes.
and Bamboo Town. I know Maria Daxon contested that seat before for the Coalition of Independence. So how does that look, and how you all think that is looking? By the way, I think a gentleman in the back, Justin, D'Angelo, Chance, whoever else is in the back there, I think Jose is telling me that he's ready now to join me.
Okay.
So just let me know. But until he does, gentlemen, let's just sort of forecast Bamboo Town and how it's looking right now.
Well, I think that Dwayne Sands has an uphill battle. So the speaker has not indicated yet whether she's going to run. I understood that she was a bit ambivalent, not sure if she was going to run.
Yeah.
But the thing about it is, Dwayne Sands is going to have some issues because of the controversy surrounding Renwood Wells not getting that nomination. And I understand that several of the high-ranking executives have pulled out from the F&M. I don't know if they have been resigned. I mean, they have resigned. I've been hearing rumors that the party was supposed to take some punitive action against some of the executives, specifically in that Pinewood and some other constituencies, who would have gone rogue, quote unquote, in some of these election processes. So Dwayne is going to have a challenge because if Renwood decides to run as an independent, he will pull some F&M votes, and I understand that some of those people in Bamboo Town have also gone over to the PLP as well, who would have been in that association and members of the F&M.
Do we know for sure if he is planning on running in 2026?
He told me that last week, Saturday.
Renwood Wells.
That he's going to run. He said, "Les, I'm running as an independent." I said, "I wish you luck. I can see what I can do for you." He is going to run, and as our brother said, the problem with Dwayne Sands is he doesn't have a soul for people. I don't know him that good, but I mean, I love his brother, who's a good friend of mine, but he seems to be out of touch with the common man, and I don't know how he's going to make it there.
What's out of touch? What's out of touch?
I'm out of touch. Man, listen, the man has run 3 times, okay, in a regular, down-to-earth, pot cake area. Elizabeth is a regular, normal area. The same mindset as people from East Street, from the Grove. Okay? That's a mindset. And it appears to me it's difficult for him to wrap his head around being a regular human being. He's a good doctor, as everybody's claimed, but the personality doesn't fit in to show love for the average, regular Bahamian.
Well, gentlemen, I want you all to think about Kirk Cornish. Remember these names because we'll talk right now to Jose. Kirk Cornish, Bradley Fox, and Sylvanus Petty. We have to talk about them, but let's go to Jose. Good evening, Jose. Welcome to the show. Please bring us up to date on what took place a few moments ago.
Shanique, I'm here live at the Free National Movement headquarters on Market Street, where they've just wrapped up a ratification exercise for 4 individuals. 3 of them, 2 of them really, no stranger to frontline politics. 2 of them, they're strangers to frontline politics, and now they're about to jumpstart their political journey. One of them I have standing right alongside me. He's 33-year-old Denari Roll. He's been ratified as the candidate for the Pinewood constituency. It was last held under the F&M under former MP Ruben Raming, who's now a senator. It's now being held under the PLP's Miles Lorota, but Mr. Roll, he's been ratified, and he's looking to give, as they say, Mr. Lorota, a run for his money. Mr. Roll, first of all, let me say congratulations to you. You've been ratified. Let's talk about how you're feeling tonight.
Thank you, Jose. Good evening, Bahamas. It's a pleasure to be here. I'm extremely humbled for the work that lies ahead. This is only just the beginning. As a new generation leader on stream, as you can see, the F&M is now bringing innovation to the front line. You see, I have 33 years of age. I've been doing community service for 15 years. So what I'm going to do now is introduce what I call the Pinewood Action Plan through action, change, and empowerment to reach the hearts and minds of the community. A young man like myself coming up off the streets, growing up in the park and being into mischievous stuff, I was able to start again. I had a fresh start, and so to be able to stand here, this is not about me. This is about the next generation of leaders like myself. Every young man within Pinewood, every young woman within Pinewood. This is me being your voice. This is me now bringing your concerns to the forefront. Put me aside. Let's work together. Let's bring some change to the Pinewood, and let's build our community one young person to the elderly at a time.
How do you think you'll be able to resonate with the area of Pine, with a constituency that could arguably be considered a battleground one, right? They haven't really shown allegiance to either major party. They've been grappling with some major issues. Tropical Storm Imelda really accentuated those issues once again, flooding, that kind of thing. How do you plan to resonate with the area and really bring about change in that area?
So, Jose, I've been on the ground for over a year and a half now, listening to the concerns of residents. We already started to do immediate work in the residents, whether it's putting down clearing yards, whether it's putting down dumpsters, whether it's assisting young people with jobs and empowering them through workshops. We have already started that work. So I'm just going to continue on that work. One of the main issues that happens in Pinewood, as everybody would know, is the flooding issue. I've already started to geo-survey or locate or geolocate all of the drains within the Pinewood constituency. I work at Water and Sewage, so I know about infrastructure and water development, and so I know what it is to bring immediate relief. That's how we provide water to the community now, and so it's just a thing of being serious. I'm going to go public-private partnership to ensure that we could bring immediate relief. One of the most simple things that I'm going to get on right away is just simple drainage maintenance. A lot of the drains in Pinewood is just clogged up. There's nowhere for the water to go, and so if we routinely maintain the drains, that will definitely bring immediate relief to the area.
And before I let you go, you have the support of your family and constituents, I take it?
Yeah.
How you feeling?
Well, so I have to shout out my son right here, my good one son, Damari Roll, and definitely you see these two people right here. That's my mom and my dad. Hats off to them. They raised me well. They brought me up the right way, and I couldn't have done it no other way without them here. And big up my Pinewood constituency. Big up my executive. They were with me every step of the way, and so Pinewood, look out for us. Let's roll to the polls.
Very well, Chinook. You just heard from Mr. Roll. Again, he's been ratified as the candidate for the Pinewood constituency. Again, he's one of 4 individuals who've been ratified. Tonight, we know Dr. Sands, Dr. Dwayne Sands, the chairman of the FNM. He's been ratified for Bamboo Town. We know he was tied with the Elizabeth constituency. He's since walked away from that constituency, and he's now picking up the Bamboo Town constituency that was held by Renwick Wells, of course, in, well, really for over a decade under the Christie administration, and fast forward under the Minnis administration. And so again, Dr. Sands has been ratified for that area. We know Fazette Gibson, an educator by profession, she's been ratified as the candidate for the Central Grand Bahama constituency. It's long been considered really a pumping vein, so to speak, for the FNM, but Iram Lewis held that constituency until he switched sides, and he's now with the Coalition of Independence. They're hoping to redeem that seat once again. We also know, again, Denari Roll, he's been ratified, and Heather Hunt, she's the only person I'm missing. She's been ratified for the Elizabeth constituency. She's no stranger to politics. She made an attempt previously, wasn't successful then, and so she's gunning for the Elizabeth constituency. And so 4 more persons ratified under the FNM banner. This is all happening as we continue to really provide coverage of what's happening here tonight. We'll be providing more details in the days to come. For now, I'm sending it back to you, Shanique.
Jose, thank you so much. Jose Etienne live at FNM headquarters on Mackey Street, speaking with Denari Roll. Denari, of course, appeared on the show. Listen, we are just getting started this evening because we're going to take a look at some of the people. By the way, you heard the PLP chairman talk about their ratification, but we're going to look at some people who were interviewed last week, and then we'll move along because what's happening in Grand Bahama with our Lucayan, it's all straight ahead tonight on Beyond the Headlines.
Something out.
Welcome to Sunburst Super Christmas Sale, where you buy 5 and get 1 free. Prices start at just $28.95 for top quality wall paints and high gloss oil paints for $55.95 a gallon. Lucky customers get a chance to win a 42-inch TV every Saturday starting now. The drawing will take place at Sunburst Paints the first week of December. You can also have a chance to win one of 2 65-inch TVs during the month of December. So hurry on down to Sunburst Paints on Harold Road, where you buy 5 and get 1 free. Happy holidays, everybody!
'Twas the night before Christmas. The stage was set. Big Bang arrived. The biggest yet. Fantasy 5 flashing. Those 5 balls glow. Quick draw. Lotto making winners flow. The island erupting. The cheers grow bigger. Santa laughed out loud. Our balls are bigger. From Moneyland's heart, the truth was clear. At Island Luck, winners live here.
It's an island luck Christmas. Joy's in the air. Jackpots are rising. There's luck everywhere. No snow on the ground, just sunshine and cheer. It's an island luck Christmas.
Big Bang, December 20th. See you there.
The race to 2026 is heating up, and the nation's voice is louder than ever. Here on Beyond the Headlines, we're checking the mood, the momentum, and the message of the people. I'm Shanique Miller. Each week, we're taking the temperature of the electorate to see what's really driving the nation. Who's connecting? Who's cooling off? What issues are heating up ahead of 2026? This is Temperature Check 2026, where journalism meets the nation's heartbeat.
Beyond the Headlines is now introducing powerful TV advertising opportunities made just for you. Choose our television ad package, 20 30-second ads for $2,000 or 20 60-second ads for $2,500 plus VAT. Prefer flexibility? Go a la carte. Just $150 for a 30-second ad or $200 for a 60-second ad. Step into the spotlight with our interview package. One 15-minute interview for $500 or 4 for $15 per month. Or bring Beyond the Headlines directly to you with our live on location package, only $2,600 plus VAT. For more information, contact our sales agent at 242-466-6173.
This segment is brought to you by EV Motors Fleet Sales Division. For 2026 commercial vehicles, call 821-2403 today.
Welcome back to Beyond the Headlines. It's good to have you all tuned in this evening. Of course, we started on politics if you're just joining us. And of course, we are your official source. The Free National Movement just ratified its newest group of candidates. I think a total of 4. Dr. Dwayne Sands, Denari Roll, Frazette Gibson, and one more.
Heather Hunt.
Heather Hunt, that's right, Heather Hunt. And so Heather is Elizabeth, Dr. Dwayne Sands is Bamboo Town, Frazette Gibson is Central Grand Bahama, and Denari Roll, Pinewood. And so, gentlemen, before the break, by the way, welcome back to Hot Topics panelists, Leslie Miller, Garth Rosborough, Howard Johnson. It's good to have you gentlemen here. Be at the top, as we were waiting to go to the FNM headquarters, I talked about who were interviewed, interestingly enough, for the Progressive Liberal Party last week. These are hopefuls, I imagine, some of them incumbents. And so let's look at, we talked about Sylvanus Petty and North Eleuthera. If you want to say something more about that, well, do speak up, let me hear it. But let's just talk about Kirk Cornish in North Abaco. How is he looking? How has he been performing? And you know, particularly if he were to be ratified once again.
Well, Kirk Cornish, based on the history of his being a member of parliament in North Abaco, would not have been my pick. I would have just tried to steer myself away from just even the appearance of. I did happen to meet him, however, in the office of the Prime Minister here in New Providence, and I found him to be quite a very warm, a very inviting young man. I think there's much to be desired in terms of his personality, but in our Bahamian culture, when we see issues, we see problems, I believe Shanique Miller and those listening that it's just sometimes good advice. Just to steer away, I would have asked him to take a back seat I would have asked him for consultation about someone to go ahead and simply just relieve him of his duties and to ascend to such position. But for now, I would not have given the royal opposition or any opposition ammunition to come after me at this point with the allegations, with the scandals, with whatever issues people had with him. I would have just simply stared away with it and start afresh.
How would your thoughts on Kirk
Yeah,
Cornish and the North Abaco race?
I think I agree as well. Mr. Cornish has had some court stuff that's been going on over the past several years, and we must say that Mr. Cornish was found not guilty of those charges and he was acquitted. Nevertheless, the optics were very terrible, and he, has been known more for what was going on in the court than his actual performance as a member of parliament. This is where not only do we have to look at the party telling persons to stand down, but this is where we have to self-actualize and do what's in the best interest of our party and our nation. Were I Mr. Cornish with all of that stuff going on, I would have stepped aside. And but the party has made their decision, and they're going with Mr. Cornish. And so I just hope and pray that they have what's coming in terms of opposition to his candidacy.
That decision hasn't been made yet with regard to Mr. Cornish. They would be ratified on Thursday at PLP headquarters. He seems to be a pretty decent young man, but the problems that he has faced in the press with all the negativity, I want him to realize one thing. All of us should think about this. In politics, perception is reality in the minds of the average voter. And the press is, well, I can't say the press, the problems that he found himself into was very damning to any young man starting out in politics. I agree with my good friend here. Was it necessary? It shouldn't have been necessary to renominate him again. I think he should take a back seat and put somebody else to the plate and move on in another area. But that's not my decision. I don't have no input in what goes on in the Progressive Liberal Party when it comes to candidacy. That's only my views.
I think he was interviewed. Obviously, the ratification, Leslie, you said Thursday. We heard Mitchell say.
Mitchell.
We heard him say before January, I think it is, or by January.
By January, we'll have the rest of them.
Right, and so we'll see exactly if they do ratify this week, and certainly looking forward to see exactly if Kirk Cornish is indeed the standard bearer for North Abaco for the Progressive Liberal Party. Anything else interesting in the North Abaco race? And of course, in South Abaco, who was also interviewed, someone by the name of Bradley Fox. Not quite sure about who Bradley Fox is, but as it stands now, he's been the only one interviewed.
Well, in my human resources understanding, if the people desire you, that is a huge advantage. When you see Sylvanus Petty, I would never have thought in 1,000 years that they would have requested him to come back after announcing that he would be the next prime minister, that he's actually going to sit back and revisit the idea in the future and to return to frontline politics because of the people's desiring of him. That says a lot to me. Anytime you can listen to the people, whether it's your party, your branch, your association, or whatever you term the common man or the society or the community, when you can listen to the voice of the people, remember these words: crucify him, and you wash your hands off it, and you have nothing to do with it other than to just obey the will of the people. You always will win when you listen to the masses.
Well, Shanique, what I wanted to say, you asked about North Abaco. I wanted to say, there's a social media star, Kai Mills, a gentleman who I met some 15 years ago campaigning down in North Abaco. Kai Mills is somewhat of a sensation and somewhat of a sideshow. And I want to give my good friend, who I haven't seen or spoken to in some time, some advice. Kai, this race seems to be shaping up quite well. You've been out there probably longer than both of these candidates. You've run before as an independent. Please let us see some evidence of you going door to door instead of standing up in the street with your camera talking to potholes and, harassing police officers and other law enforcement officers. Let's see you doing some actual work in the constituency and campaigning door to door. I only see you around doing stuff at the airport and talking to people and all of that stuff. Come on, Kai, let's go. We're battling for the soul of the Bahamas, and we need serious candidates to be on the ground trying to make a difference in the lives of ordinary Bahamians.
You know, Mr. Petty in Lucha is a very interesting young man. Came into politics, he has his own business. He has done a lot for that area, even when things were tough. He always stood out as a doer. I respect him for that. He's had little problems here and there with the situation with water and sewage. But I know one day I was by the Prime Minister's office, and I was shocked the amount of pastors that came out of Elutra asking the Prime Minister to renominate him. Wow. That the people really loved him for the work that he did, while especially during COVID and what have you. Did a tremendous job on behalf of those people. I think he deserved a second chance. You know, he's a good human being, and his heart is in the right place, which is the people of Elutra who he loves. And he shouldn't have a problem getting a nomination come Thursday, I don't think.
Well, Shanique, when it comes to this Bradley Fox gentleman, we don't know him. But if the society knows him, and if the society wants him, then he has an advantage. I'll just say this, Shanique Miller, listening to the show, and I'm enjoying the conversation because I'm looking at the candidacy even of the Free National Movement coming forward. And one or two of them, they look good, but I'm looking for the word victory. How to be victorious. I don't see it, and I'll tell you why. We all thought that Brian Brown, Golden Isles, was going to be victorious based on his contribution, based on his insertion, based on his community involvement in the Golden Isles constituency for more than 10 years. We thought he was in there. A lot of his fiction, he had put down roots. He was growing trunks and branches and leaves. Yeah. It seemed as if a victory was happening, Shanique Miller. And then guess what happened? When the leadership of the Free National Movement showed up, everything went south. Yeah. See, it doesn't matter sometimes how strong you are as a candidate. Yep. If your leadership is not desirable to the Bahamian people, all of your effort, all of that talk about PPP and Pinewood and what you're going to do and how you're going to do, if those people don't like your leadership, you talk about Dwayne Sands going into Bamboo Town, you know that's a cut-up coming his way. You just know that. Shannon on Cartwright trying to run to find somewhere to live other than St. Barnabas, you know if he don't go in a soft spot, that's a cut-up coming. Yeah, he's going. And Michael Pintard, if you lose this election, number 3, you know what's going to happen to you. It's all about leadership. We always knew it was all about leadership. But kudos to those who got a nomination. You did extremely well. We're proud of you. From Beyond the Headlines, Shanique Miller, myself, and others, I would like to congratulate you. But just be prepared and know that everyone who runs doesn't win. Sometimes it's just a cut hip coming your way.
That's for sure.
Yeah.
Well, we will.
Shanique,
I had a few of them.
Quickly, Howard, yes?
No, as far as South Abaco, the Fox gentleman, never heard of him, don't know. I'm sure the PLP has their reasons why he's the guy who was being pushed forward. But Jeremy Sweeting is well known out there, someone who I've known for many years as well. I don't know if he still is a councillor down there.
He's a chief councillor,
yes. He's been active in local government for a long time. He's a good gentleman, and I expect that Abaco itself, North and South, Abaco is going to be one of the battleground islands to watch in this election. I think it's going to be very interesting.
I thank you, gentlemen, very much. Don't go anywhere, because when we come back, we're going to turn our attention to the Grand Lucayan Resort development. What's happening? Beyond the Headlines is backward after this.
The Bahamas is the premier destination for fly fishing because of its unique geography.
We've got the 3rd largest barrier reef in the world in the Bahamas.
We have the largest aggregation of mangroves in the Western Hemisphere.
Which simply means we've got the largest marine biodiversity than anywhere else in the world.
I am unapologetic about Bahamians being owners in our #1 industry.
We should not just say, we should have it enacted into certain policies.
The Bahamas Fly Fishing Industry Association was instrumental in the 2017 sports fishing legislation. Anyone fishing in the Bahamas who's going to be guiding has to be certified and licensed And thirdly, they have to be a Bahamian.
And that is historic in that a model of conservation and a model for Bahamianization has been legislated, the only one in the country.
But it also gives Bahamians the opportunity with a sense of pride to know that at the end of the day, I'm contributing to the development of my country and something they can pass on for generations.
The Out Island of Bahamas, there are no other alternative industry that generates the kind of revenue that fly fishing does. The entire community benefits.
I would always encourage the tourists, people who want to fish, hire a local guide.
The guides in the Bahamas are some of the best trained fly fishing guides in the world. You know it because you see the results in terms of the kinds of fishing they're doing. They're catching the largest bonefish, the largest tarpon, largest permit. That is unique. So this is the lure to all the anglers internationally coming who thinks of the Bahamas as #1 destination for fly fishing in saltwater.
I'm really excited about this initiative that SPTC has brought forth for the fishermen.
If you have great guides and terrible boats and engines and nothing working and all this, you could be the best in the world. And people still have a terrible experience because they could not have a good day on the water.
I think one of the greatest things is to have access to quality capital, but not only having access to the capital, but terms and conditions related to the capital, so we encourage growth and expansion of the industry and professionalism within the industry because of the resources being at hand and having proper guidance.
It'll be a greater impact and they'll have a better experience.
And I foresee it being an opportunity that the guides are taking advantage of in terms of the opportunities for education, awareness, and resources. You always need to advise people, inform them, and then equip them. And so I think this process is essential because it allows the skill sets that are needed in a changing economy and environment, how they could then keep up with operating their small business.
So you want a space. But not just any space. You need something with a little more potential. So how about 1,000 square feet of room to play with? Superb audio and video production capability, digital LED wall, full lighting grid, and about 124 seats to accommodate a full studio audience with so many other features. Make us your home for your next concert, conference, and so much more. Honestly, the possibilities are endless. Here at ILTV Studios, we'd love to bring your next event to life. So what do you say? Do you want our space?
Beyond the Headlines is now introducing powerful TV advertising opportunities made just for you. Choose our television ad package, 20 30-second ads for $2,000 or 20 60-second ads for $2,500 plus VAT. Prefer flexibility? Go a la carte. Just $150 for a 30-second ad or $200 for a 60-second ad. Step into the spotlight with our interview package. 1 15-minute interview for $500 or 4 for $15 per month. Or bring Beyond the Headlines directly to you with our live on location package, only $2,600 plus VAT. For more information, contact our sales agent at 242-466-6173.
Motors Fleet Sales Division. For 2026 commercial vehicles, call 821-2403 today.
Welcome back to Beyond the Headlines. Well, questions are intensifying tonight over the future of the Grand Lucayan redevelopment deal, with the opposition ramping up pressure on the government and demanding answers. At the center of the controversy, delays, a lack of clarity on the agreement, and growing uncertainty for workers who say they're still waiting for their pay and for direction. Prime Minister Davis was today faced with those concerns, and he spoke to them. We get this story from Laurencia Smith, and then we come back and talk about it.
The staff will be paid, and yes, that's just
the hotel ought to have been closed by now.
According to a social media post of an email from Deborah Gomez, whom we understand to be the Grand Lucayan's chief financial officer, to workers outlined the status of outstanding payroll. Gomez said payments for December 5th and the current pay period for December 12th would not be issued, citing circumstances beyond our control. Davis acknowledged there have been challenges between the board and management.
The Lucayan project is within the timeline we're having set. You don't just revitalize the resort overnight. Right? It takes time for planning. It takes time to get all the permits and everything in place. That will happen.
Concord Wilshire signed a $120 million agreement with the Bahamian government to purchase the Freeport property back in May, with the developers projected to invest up to $827 million to transform more than half of the Grand Lucayan resort. Meanwhile, the opposition is turning up the pressure. In a statement, Free National Movement leader Michael Pintard accused the Davis administration of failing to deliver on two major promises made to Grand Bahama. Pintard described the government's handling of the project as 4 years, 2 promises, and 0 results. He said more than 200 days have passed since the signing of the heads of agreement, yet Bahamians are still without a clear timeline, transparency, or answers. Earlier this year, it was reported that government was spending about $1 million a month to keep the Grand Lucayan operational. When asked whether government is still fitting that bill, Davis told the media this.
We're working those things out.
Well, before we respond to that, former Prime Minister, I wish we did hear what he said. Meanwhile, you all, former Tourism Minister Dionisio de Aguilar is crying shame on the Davis administration over the Grand Lucayan deal that remains under a microscope months after the heads of agreement was signed. You remember that happened in May. De Aguilar says government officials have been parading on an agreement that they are now tight-lipped on months later, leaving many to question if that deal is still on the table or whether it's been scrapped.
It's a very unfortunate situation that despite the passage of time, 4 years under them and probably 2 years under us, although we were coming out of COVID, so it was a bit more difficult for us to get things done, that project has not been resolved. I mean, there's a lot of starts and stops. I think they've learned their lesson. They're quick to run out and say, oh, we found a deal. But then that deal does not materialize. So I think the best thing for them to do is when they actually have a deal and they have money in the bank, then come to the Bahamian people and let them know what they have done. Because this rushing to the press to tout a deal, which then does not materialize for whatever reason, is not serving anyone well. We struck a deal, but then COVID came along, and of course that scuttled every deal. So it never got settled in that regard. But we'll see where it ends up.
Well, gentlemen, you all heard Michael Pintard says, listen, 4 years, 2 promises, no results. Your thoughts about this Grand Lucayan resort? We also heard Prime Minister Davis in that report with Laurentia Smith say, listen, things like approvals and permits and all the rest of it takes a minute to come together so that the resort and a redevelopment of a resort can actually happen seamlessly.
I'm looking at this story, Shanique Miller. You know, our heart always goes out for Grand Bahama. You yourself, as the host of this show and elsewhere, you've had great hopes for Grand Bahama. You've been praying for Grand Bahama. And when we heard of this news, we were just totally excited, elated, celebratory. We were prepared to travel there and be a part of the celebration, just for the sake of the people of Grand Bahama who stay in touch with you, especially. Knowing that the government had purchased this particular property for some $63 million, and then you're going to spend $1 million a month in order to maintain this hotel, which is $12 million plus dollars a year for 4 years, $48 million plus the $63 million. You look at over $100 million in the mind of Garth Maynard Roseborough, who I kind of understand real estate, I understand property. I would have blown the property of Shanique Mill. I would have taken dynamite. I would have blown that property to pieces. I would have leveled it. I would have made a park out of that property until an investor says, you know what? I desire that particular real estate. To continue this saga, the FNM need not point fingers, even though Mr. Diagla is somewhat correct. He himself knows when to close the door. I remember I used to go to Superwash on East Street and Soldier Road all the time. It's no longer there. Sometimes you just close the door and just simply move on. In this scenario, I would not promise Grand Bahama anything other than you need to find another job elsewhere. We may have some temporary jobs coming on stream. We'll take care of you. Let's go ahead and just restructure. Let's go ahead and just relocate you. But as for that particular building, I can look at that building and tell you, blow it up. Just blow it up. It ain't going nowhere. I don't expect Concord to do nothing in January or February.
Yeah.
It's a disaster. It's a horror story. I think it needs to go away.
Yeah, Shanique, this is very, very, very terrible. And just thinking about the fact that these employees have missed 2 paychecks now in a row, coming close to Christmas, and just extrapolating out beyond just this particular project, the entire island of Grand Bahama has been in economic malaise for some time now, and it spans both governments. And so the political football back and forth, it's sad, but the Prime Minister Davis and his government has to understand this is your responsibility. The Prime Minister said the other day that he's busy cleaning up the F&M's mess. Well, sir, with the greatest respect, we don't want to hear that. This government has been yours since 2021. We have to fix the problems. Part of the reason why your campaign was successful was because you and your government, you and your party said that you were going to take this over from the F&M, who had 4 or 5 cabinet ministers, the governor general, the minister of finance. All of these people were in the last F&M government, and Grand Bahama did not move. And part of the reason why they were voted out was because you were able to successfully place Grand Bahama's woes front and center to the Bahamian people and swept them out of office. This is your issue to fix. Let's find some practical solutions. Let's not play around with this. There's an election coming up. I wish that you guys could get something done and started before, but if you cannot get these people to do something, then maybe we need to look at a phased approach. What you should have been doing from May when this thing happened with this, all of the fanfare and stuff, I would have been contingency planning and secretly seeking out other investors just as a plan B in the event that these things do not work out because of all of these missed timelines and such.
I'm very concerned about our brothers and sisters in Freeport and Grand Bahama as a whole. They were anticipating for a very long time that the economy of Grand Bahama was going to turn the corner in a positive light. And the Grand Lucayan Hotel was the engine that was going to get that vehicle running again to enlighten their lives and make things more positive in Grand Bahama, because they are our brothers and sisters. I just pray to God that the Prime Minister and his team would get it together quickly, like before Christmas, and let the people know what is going on. You have an agreement with these. First of all, do these people have the wherewithal, the financial capability to do the project? That's the first thing that needs to be clarified, because the Miami Herald didn't print too nicely of them as a grouping. I'm sorry to say, but I'm just speaking the facts. I was there for the signing. I was very elated, very happy that in my lifetime, Freeport is going to come back to be the magic city, the second city that it was built to be, the second city that used to be under my good friend, who is now passed. And I always say that he took Freeport with him. When they buried him, they buried Freeport. We got to get it together, PM. Everybody is concerned. Every time I see, I ask the same question.
Oh, yeah.
Is this one going to be pulled off? Are they going to do it? Are they capable of doing instead of talking? Because I was there when they break down one of the vendors or whatever the hell they did. I've been in government for a long time. The corporation, worked there for several years, met investors from all over the world who came here with a lot of ideas in their head. Many of them using people of our color to believe it's a joke that when you come in with these massive figures, we found in reality that if they tell you it's 100 million, it's 50. If they're getting a higher 2,000 people, it's 100 or 800. Did they present you this spy in the sky that they are the savior of the Bahamas?
Yes.
They're not to save you. We got to save ourselves. And we do that by very, assessing the situation, putting the right people in place to deal with these people and say, you have a timeline. You wanted this project. I want to see $10 million in the bank or $50 million towards this project. And I'm not sure you can get your money back if you don't go through with it. Because this government and the main people really don't have no more time to waste on these people called Wilshire. You got to get it done. Please, let's get it done.
Absolutely.
I'm begging you on behalf of the Bahamian people, especially the Grand Bahamians, who deserve better.
They should not have to stand and wait to be paid. You know how aggravating that is? You know how vexing it is to have to wait and have 2 pay periods pass you and you still are waiting to be paid? And so certainly, of course, this matter needs to be addressed. It looks sloppy. It's just out there hanging in the balance, and it needs to be addressed. And furthermore, Grand Bahama must move forward. I mean, that's something that we are rooting for and still are rooting for. We want to see Grand Bahama move forward.
I miss Everett and George so much. That was a genius, you know.
Well, but it's a different era. And someone has to stand up. And if you know what you're doing, listen, CY, sit down. Go sit in a corner and let someone else who knows what they're doing, let them get in there and steer the course of Grand Bahama in the direction that it needs to go.
Yeah, no more parties, no more parties. Let's just get something done.
Get it done.
Party after we get something done.
I love them. Get it done.
I just want to add quickly, Shanique, that the greatest form of public-private partnership is your local people, your citizen, your Bahamian people. Find a way to empower the small businessmen, put them out there front. If you're tolerant of these foreign investors who take you for a ride, give us, the Bahamian people, a chance and let us prove to you that the carnival lives here in the Bahamas.
I'm not sure about all that. In any event, Carl, I'm not sure about all that. Let's just be real. If you want that project done, stop playing games. That right there, what you say is games. Listen, no, really, yes, absolutely. And we look forward. I'll tell you this as we wrap up. Edwin St.
George.
St. George, that's it. He told me when I was in Grand Bahama in August. In October.
No, but that's
what is his name?
The other owner, son. You're talking about
Hayward, Rupert Hayward.
Jack Hayward's son.
Rupert Hayward said to me in October that by January, Grand Bahama's economy is going to look totally different.
Yeah,
and I hope that he brings this show there to help celebrate that and also talk about it some more in the month of January. Absolutely. So things are happening there. They just need more of it to happen and to happen at once.
That shit gotta come through, man.
Absolutely. Listen, I thank you all so much, gentlemen. Thank you so much, of course, to Jose at the top of tonight's show. Of course, if you all missed it, go watch this show back at the top and see which FNMs were ratified this evening. Thank you all very much.
The heat is on.
Leslie, the heat is on, I tell you that. Leslie Miller, Garth Roseborough, and Howard Johnson, thank you as well. And a huge thank you to all of you for tuning in this evening. Certainly been a pleasure having you along. And I look forward to seeing you right back here tomorrow evening. For the entire Beyond the Headlines team, I'm Shanique Miller. Make it a great evening, everyone.